Why do humans become addicted to their phones even when they know it's making them anxious, distracted, and mentally exhausted? Why do we reach for our phones without thinking? Why does silence feel uncomfortable without a screen? This isn't a self-control problem. And it's not because people are weak. There's a deeper psychological reason behind phone addiction, and it begins inside the human brain. The human brain is wired to seek stimulation, not meaning, not fulfillment, stimulation. Every notification, every message, every scroll triggers a small release of dopamine. Dopamine isn't the chemical of happiness, it's the chemical of anticipation. It's what makes the brain whisper, "Check again, maybe something new is there." And most of the time, there isn't. But the brain doesn't care about importance, it cares about novelty. Phones deliver endless novelty, new content, new faces, new information. And this creates a loop. Boredom creates discomfort. Discomfort leads to phone use. Phone use brings temporary relief. That relief teaches the brain something powerful. Avoidance works. Over time, the brain loses tolerance for stillness. Moments that were once normal, waiting, thinking, being alone, start to feel uncomfortable. So the phone slowly becomes a tool for emotional regulation, not entertainment, regulation. People don't check their phones because they're bored. They check their phones to escape their thoughts. Anxiety, uncertainty, loneliness, self-doubt. The screen creates distance from those feelings. That's why phone addiction feels compulsive. The brain isn't chasing pleasure, it's avoiding discomfort. And the more often discomfort is avoided, the harder it becomes to face it. Here's what most people don't realize. The problem isn't the phone. The problem is what the phone is replacing. Focus, presence, emotional awareness. When stimulation becomes constant, silence feels threatening, and the mind slowly becomes afraid of being alone with itself. That's why people feel restless without their phones. Not because they're addicted to technology, but because they've lost comfort with their inner world. This doesn't mean humans are broken. It means the brain adapted to an environment it was never designed for. And awareness is where control begins. Phone addiction isn't a moral failure, it's a psychological response. And once you understand that, the behavior starts to make sense. If you want to understand more hidden patterns behind human behavior, subscribe to Why Humans Do This. Because when you understand the mind, everything changes.